The Science of Habit Formation: How to Create and Break Habits in Just 7 Days. Written and published by Book Boost. In a world where change is constant, it's no surprise that one of the most powerful tools available to anyone is the ability to shape and control their own habits. What if you could change any part of your life in just 7 days? What if you could create a new habit or break an old one in less time than it takes to build a routine? This is the power of habit formation, an invisible force that drives every aspect of who you are and what you do. At its core, habits shape your future, determine your success, and unlock your greatest potential. Understanding the science behind them is the key to unlocking your life's transformation. When you look closely at your daily life, you'll realize that nearly everything you do, from the moment you wake up to when you go to sleep, is the result of a habit. Your brain craves patterns, routines, and the comfort of repetition. It's why, when you brush your teeth or tie your shoes, it feels almost automatic. Habits are the foundation of how we live, work, and grow. They operate beneath the surface, often unnoticed, and yet they influence every action we take. This is the hidden power of habit, the ability to build a life without thinking, but only when those habits are consciously chosen and designed. Welcome to part 1 of this transformative journey, the power of habits, unlocking the key to transformation. This part of the process is all about the first step, understanding what habits really are and why they matter. You see, habits are not just random behaviors. They are neurological patterns stored deep within your brain. And the more you understand how they work, the easier it becomes to manipulate them to serve your goals, dreams, and success. What you might not know is that your brain has a powerful system called the habit loop. This loop is a 3-step process that starts with a cue or trigger, followed by the routine itself, and finally, the reward. The cue is the signal that triggers your habit, the routine is the behavior you perform, and the reward is the positive reinforcement that encourages you to repeat the habit. Understanding this cycle is crucial because it is this loop that keeps habits locked into your life, whether they are positive or negative. The reason habits have such a powerful hold on us is because of the brain's wiring. Your brain loves efficiency. Every time you repeat an action, the brain strengthens the neural connections that make the behavior easier to do. Eventually, these actions become automatic, requiring less mental effort. This is why forming a new habit can feel difficult at first. It's like trying to create a new path through a dense forest. But over time, as you repeat the new behavior, the path becomes clearer and easier to follow. One of the most powerful aspects of habits is their ability to compound over time. Small, consistent actions, when repeated daily, can lead to extraordinary results. Think of it like this. If you improve by just 1% every day, by the end of a year, you'll be 37 times better than you were on day 1. That's the compound effect of habits. Whether it's waking up early, exercising, reading, or eating healthier, small steps lead to big change. But this is only possible if you understand how to harness the power of habit in the first place. Now, creating habits doesn't just apply to positive actions. Breaking bad habits follows the same process. You must identify the cues, routines, and rewards of the negative habit, and then replace them with new, positive ones. This is where the real transformation happens. By disrupting the old habit loop and introducing a new one, you can create lasting change in just a week. It's about rewiring your brain to choose better, healthier patterns that support your well-being and success. To start the process of changing or creating habits, you need to begin with awareness. You must first identify the habits you currently have, both good and bad. What are the behaviors you repeat every day? Which ones are serving you, and which ones are holding you back? This awareness is the first step in taking control of your habits. Without awareness, there is no power to change. It's important to remember that habits are not about perfection. They are about consistency. You're not aiming for flawless execution, but for incremental improvement. In fact, one of the most empowering parts of habit formation is the realization that small setbacks don't ruin the process. It's the steady, consistent effort over time that leads to lasting transformation. Perfection is a myth, but progress is always within reach. The power of habits goes beyond just improving your personal life. By mastering habit formation, you unlock the potential to elevate every area of your life, from health to career to relationships. This ability to create and break habits gives you the autonomy to design the life you want. You don't have to wait for motivation to strike. You can make your success inevitable by intentionally crafting your daily routines. So, as we begin this journey together, remember that the most important step is to take action. Every habit you form is a conscious decision to move toward your goals. There's no better time than now to start shaping your future. At Book Boost, we believe in the power of change, and you're about to experience it in ways you never thought possible. In the coming parts of this audiobook, you'll discover how to take these insights and use them to create lasting habits in just 7 days. But before we move forward, take a moment to absorb the power of this first lesson. You have the power to shape your habits, and in turn, shape your life. Like, share, and subscribe to Book Boost to continue unlocking the secrets of habit formation. Stay tuned, because in Part 2, we'll dive into the science behind how habits are formed in your brain and why understanding this can accelerate your transformation. Understanding the science behind habit formation. The brain is an extraordinary organ, and understanding how it shapes your behavior can be a game changer. When you look closely at habit formation, you'll realize it's not just about willpower or motivation. It's about science, how your brain builds patterns, how it rewards you, and how it creates pathways that influence every action you take. Once you understand this, the process of creating and breaking habits becomes less about struggling and more about mastering the system. At the heart of habit formation lies the concept of neural pathways. Think of these pathways as roads in your brain, each one connecting different parts that control behavior. When you perform an action repeatedly, the brain strengthens the pathway associated with that action. Over time, these pathways become automatic, making the action easier to repeat. This is how habits are born, through repeated actions that solidify in the brain. Every habit starts with a cue. It's the trigger that sets everything in motion. It could be something as simple as the time of day, a specific place, or even an emotion. For example, feeling stressed might trigger the habit of reaching for a snack. Understanding your cues is the first step toward changing your habits. By becoming aware of what sparks your behavior, you can begin to control it. Once the cue occurs, you enter the second phase of the habit loop, the routine. This is the behavior you perform in response to the cue. It could be anything from a healthy activity, like going for a walk, to a less beneficial one, like scrolling through your phone for hours. The routine is what takes the most energy, but over time, it becomes ingrained, requiring less and less effort. Finally, there's the reward. This is what reinforces the habit. It's the feeling of satisfaction you get after completing the routine. The reward doesn't have to be anything big. It could simply be the sense of relief after eating a snack when stressed. The key is that the reward motivates your brain to repeat the cycle. Without a reward, habits would lose their power. The key to creating a new habit or breaking an old one lies in altering these 3 components of the habit loop. If you can change the cue, the routine, or the reward, you have the power to shift the habit itself. It's like rewiring your brain to form a new, healthier connection, one that benefits your future self. One of the most effective ways to start forming a new habit is by linking it to an existing habit. This is known as habit stacking. For example, if you already have the habit of drinking a cup of coffee every morning, you could stack a new habit on top of it, like doing 5 minutes of stretching. By anchoring the new habit to something you already do automatically, you make it easier to integrate. The brain loves consistency. The more you repeat the habit, the more entrenched the new pathway becomes. It's important to remember that consistency doesn't mean perfection. Even if you miss a day or two, you haven't undone all the work you've done. The key is getting back on track as soon as possible. With every repetition, you're one step closer to making the habit automatic. On the flip side, breaking a habit requires a bit more strategy. It's not about willpower alone. It's about understanding the cues that trigger the habit and replacing the routine with something more beneficial. If you're trying to break a habit like procrastination, you might notice that the cue is the feeling of being overwhelmed. Instead of procrastinating, you could create a new routine, like breaking tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. Your brain doesn't like sudden changes. It resists them, which is why trying to quit a habit cold turkey often leads to failure. Instead, the best approach is to gradually replace the old habit with a new one. Start small. For example, if your goal is to exercise more, begin with just a few minutes a day and gradually increase the time as it becomes easier. Over time, your brain will adjust, and the new habit will become more ingrained. Remember, breaking a habit doesn't mean completely eliminating the behavior. Instead, it's about replacing the old behavior with something that serves you better. If you're trying to stop eating junk food, replacing it with healthier snacks or even drinking water can be the first step toward healthier choices. Creating or breaking habits is not a process that happens overnight. It's a journey that requires patience, self-awareness, and consistent action. But the rewards are worth it. By understanding how your brain works and using this knowledge to your advantage, you can create lasting habits that move you closer to your goals. In fact, the more you understand how habits are formed, the more empowered you become. It's like unlocking a hidden part of yourself that has the power to transform your life. You have the ability to create new habits, break old ones, and, ultimately, become the person you've always wanted to be. As you move forward in this journey, remember that success is not measured by perfection but by progress. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your ideal self. And with the science of habit formation on your side, nothing is out of reach. Building a new habit or breaking an old one isn't about making dramatic changes all at once. It's about making small, sustainable adjustments that, over time, lead to lasting transformation. This is where the power of habits lies, the ability to change your life, one small action at a time. So keep going. Every time you take action toward your goal, you're strengthening the neural pathways that will eventually make your new habit automatic. And with every day, you're one step closer to becoming the best version of yourself. As you've learned in this part, habits aren't just about willpower, they're about understanding the science behind them. Now, with this knowledge, you can begin to take control of your life, one habit at a time. Stay with us in the next part, where we'll dive into the practical steps of Day 1, setting the stage for your new habits. Day 1, setting the stage for habit change. The journey of transforming your habits begins with a simple, yet powerful decision, the decision to take control. Day 1 is the foundation of this transformation. It is not about perfection, but about commitment. Today, you are planting the seeds of change. This is where the process starts, and it's where everything will begin to shift in your life. By simply deciding that you are ready, you have already taken the first step towards a new you. The first thing to do on Day 1 is to set your intention. What habit do you want to build, or what negative habit do you want to break? The clearer your intention, the easier it will be to stay focused. This is not just about vague goals like getting healthy or being more productive. It's about a specific action you want to turn into a habit. Maybe it's drinking more water, exercising every day, or reading for 30 minutes. The more specific your goal, the more achievable it becomes. Next, it's time to focus on your why. Why do you want to create this habit? The strength of your motivation will determine how long you stick with it. The deeper the reason, the more committed you will be. Is your goal about better health? Is it about personal growth or overcoming a challenge? Whatever your reason is, remind yourself every day why this change is important to you. When your why is strong, your willpower will follow. In the beginning, it's crucial to start small. Trying to make huge changes right away can overwhelm you. Start with small actions that are easy to accomplish and build your momentum. For example, if your goal is to exercise, start with just 10 minutes a day. When you complete those 10 minutes, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment that will drive you to keep going. Remember, it's not about doing everything perfectly right away. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's about being consistent, even if the steps are small. The key is to keep showing up, day after day, no matter how small the action is. Each day is a building block that will stack up over time to create something bigger and better. This is also the day to eliminate distractions. Your environment plays a huge role in whether or not you succeed. Clear out anything that stands in the way of your habit. If you're trying to eat healthier, get rid of junk food in your house. If you're trying to read more, set up a quiet space for reading. Make sure your environment supports your new habit. A positive environment can help you stay motivated and focused. Don't expect to feel motivated all the time. Motivation is fleeting, but discipline is lasting. The key to sticking with your habit is developing self-discipline. Every time you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you are building that discipline. Over time, Your brain will start to associate the habit with a sense of accomplishment, which will drive you to keep going. Another important lesson for day 1 is to track your progress. There's something powerful about seeing your growth. Whether it's marking a calendar, using an app, or writing it down, tracking gives you something tangible to look at and shows you how far you've come. Even if you're just getting started, the act of tracking will motivate you to continue. On day 1, don't focus on perfection, but on building consistency. It's not about having the perfect routine. It's about showing up, no matter what. Even on the days when it feels like you're not making progress, just the act of sticking to your new habit is a victory in itself. This will be the foundation of all future growth. The next step is to understand that setbacks are part of the journey. There may be days when you miss a habit or feel like giving up. But remember, one missed day doesn't erase your progress. The important thing is to get back on track. Don't let a setback stop you from continuing. Just pick yourself up and keep going. It's all part of the process. Now, on day 1, create a routine around your new habit. Consistency is key, so having a set time and place for your habit helps reinforce it. This can be as simple as setting a specific time in your day to read, exercise, or meditate. The more structured you make your routine, the easier it will be to stick with it. On this first day, don't worry about the long-term results. Focus on the process. Every time you take action, you are one step closer to building a habit that will change your life. Trust in the process, and allow yourself to experience the small wins along the way. The more you celebrate these victories, the more motivated you'll be to continue. Keep your expectations realistic. You're not going to change everything overnight. But with small, consistent actions, you will begin to see progress. Day 1 is just the start, but every small step you take builds momentum. The key is to make that first step count and commit to moving forward, no matter how small the action may seem. Now, don't forget to make your new habit enjoyable. The more you enjoy the process, the easier it will be to keep it up. If your goal is to exercise, find an activity you enjoy. If you want to read more, choose books that inspire you. When you make your habit fun, it becomes less of a chore and more of a rewarding experience. Your mindset plays a huge role on day 1. Stay positive and believe in your ability to change. The thoughts you have about yourself and your potential are powerful. If you tell yourself you can do it, you're already halfway there. Don't underestimate the power of a positive mindset. At the end of the day, reflect on your actions. What went well? What could you improve? Reflection is key to understanding what works and what doesn't. But always celebrate your efforts, no matter how small they seem. Each day you show up is a victory, and those victories add up over time. As you close day 1, remind yourself of the power you have within you. You've taken the first step, and that alone is a huge achievement. You are in control of your habits, and by setting the stage today, you've made a commitment to a better future. This is just the beginning, and the changes you want to see are already on their way. In the next part of this journey, we'll dive deeper into breaking old habits and replacing them with new, positive ones. But for now, take a moment to appreciate the progress you've made on day 1. You've set yourself up for success. And with each new day, you will only grow stronger, wiser, and more capable of achieving your goals. Like, share, and subscribe to Book Boost as we continue exploring the science of habit formation and how you can transform your life in just 7 days. Day 2. Breaking the old to make space for the new. Every new habit begins by creating space, both in the mind and in daily routines. But before a new seed can grow, the old weeds must be cleared. This is the purpose of day 2. Now that the power of habits and the science behind them are understood, it's time to face what no longer serves us. Breaking old habits is not just about discipline, it's about clarity. It's about making the conscious decision to let go of what drains energy, time, and peace of mind. Most people struggle with change not because they lack willpower, but because they're still holding on to patterns that have become part of their identity. If someone has repeated the same behavior for months or even years, it can begin to feel like who they are. But here's the truth. Habits are not who you are. They are what you've learned. And anything that is learned can also be unlearned. The moment this becomes clear is the moment real change begins. One of the most important lessons in breaking old habits is this: don't fight the habit, replace it. The brain doesn't respond well to empty space. If you remove a bad habit without filling the gap with a purposeful, positive action, your mind will eventually return to the old behavior. Instead of saying, "I won't check my phone first thing in the morning," say, "I will read one page of a book when I wake up." This is called conscious substitution. It's simple but powerful. Another key to letting go of old habits is to change the environment that triggers them. Habits are heavily tied to surroundings. For example, if someone tends to overeat while watching TV in the living room, simply changing the location where they spend their time after dinner can weaken that habit. It's not always about having more willpower. Sometimes, it's about having less temptation. A simple shift in space can disrupt an entire behavior loop. The next powerful lesson is about awareness. You cannot change what you do not see. Begin by observing the habits that happen automatically. What triggers them? What time of day do they appear? What emotions come before or after? By becoming a witness to your own patterns, you gain control. And with control comes freedom. The more you observe, the more you understand, and the easier it becomes to shift. Every time you resist an old habit, your brain rewires itself slightly. This process is called neuroplasticity. It means the brain is always changing and adapting based on what you do. Even the smallest effort to interrupt a bad habit sends a signal to the brain that something new is happening. These signals accumulate, slowly turning resistance into strength. You may not notice it at first, but every little act of self-control builds a powerful foundation for transformation. Breaking habits also involves forgiving yourself. There will be days when you slip. There will be moments when the old pattern returns. But this is not failure. It's part of the process. Growth is never a straight line. It's more like a wave. Progress, setback, progress again. What matters is that you don't stop. Keep going, even when it's messy, even when it's hard, because every step forward still counts. Motivation is helpful, but it fades. That's why habit change must be rooted in something deeper, a reason that inspires you every day. Ask yourself, why do I want to break this habit? Maybe it's for health, peace, energy, confidence, or loved ones. When the reason is strong enough, the excuse becomes weak. Purpose is a better fuel than motivation. Purpose lasts longer. Celebrate the small victories. If you go one whole day without falling into an old habit, that's progress. Don't wait for the big transformation to feel proud. Change is built on consistency, not intensity. A small win today sets the tone for a bigger win tomorrow. And when you stack wins, you build momentum. And when you build momentum, nothing can stop you. Make it visual. One of the most effective ways to track your progress in breaking habits is by using a calendar or checklist. Each day you avoid the habit, mark it with a big X. Over time, your brain begins to crave the satisfaction of seeing a streak. This turns the process into a game where consistency becomes your greatest advantage. Surround yourself with reminders of the person you are becoming. This might be quotes, photos, or even a note on the mirror that says, "You are stronger than this habit." These small cues can create massive emotional power. The more you remind yourself of your vision, the harder it is to return to your past. Let your future self speak louder than your old patterns. Another profound lesson: identity creates behavior. When someone begins to see themselves as a healthy person, their choices naturally begin to match. They eat better. They move more. They rest well. Not because they're forcing it, but because it aligns with who they believe they are. So instead of saying, "I'm trying to quit," say, "I'm not that person anymore." Speak your new identity into existence. Accountability changes everything. Share your habit-breaking journey with someone you trust. Tell them what habit you're letting go of and ask them to check in on you. This small step adds pressure, but it also adds power. When you know someone else is watching, your focus increases. You no longer carry the burden alone. Use visual cues to interrupt the habit cycle. If your habit is biting nails, place a rubber band around your wrist and snap it gently every time you feel the urge. If your habit is mindless scrolling, move your apps into a folder with a name like, "Is this helping me grow?" Simple reminders can pause the automatic behavior just long enough to make a better choice. Energy plays a massive role in habit breaking. People tend to fall back into bad habits when they're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. That's why part of breaking the habit is learning how to recharge. Sleep well. Drink water. Move your body. When your energy is high, your will is stronger. Never underestimate the power of rest. Every habit sends a message to your mind about what you deserve. Do you deserve health, peace, focus? Or do you believe you're stuck with stress, clutter, and regret? When you release a habit that doesn't serve you, you're telling your mind, I deserve better. That message echoes throughout your life, shaping every other decision you make. This process is not just about changing what you do. It's about changing how you see yourself. As you let go of the old, you begin to notice a shift in your energy, your confidence, and your peace. Life begins to feel lighter, clearer, more aligned. That's the gift of breaking old habits. It brings you closer to your true self. Let this be the reminder. You don't need to change everything in one day. Just one step. Just one moment of saying, not this time. Every day, you are training your brain to become stronger, wiser, and more aware. Over time, the old habit fades into the past, replaced by a new path filled with purpose and power. As day 2 ends, remember that clearing the space is the beginning of building something beautiful. In the next part, you will learn how to use this space wisely, how to build consistency and make your new habits strong enough to last. Stay with Book Boost. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel to continue this 7-day journey toward transformation. Your next chapter is waiting, and it begins with one simple action. Day 5 to 7, the final push, solidifying and replacing habits for lasting change. The journey you've been on up until now has brought you to a powerful point of transformation. You've built the awareness, you've laid the groundwork, and you've made progress. But now, it's time for the final push, the last few days that will solidify your new habits and replace the old ones once and for all. The power to change is in your hands, and these next few days are all about committing to the habits that will last for a lifetime. In the beginning, you might have doubted yourself. It's natural. Starting something new can feel overwhelming, and it's easy to get discouraged when progress seems slow. But now, after days of small victories, you're no longer the same person you were when you started this journey. You've already proven to yourself that you have the strength and determination to create change. The key to success in these final days is consistency. It's about showing up for yourself every single day, even when you don't feel like it. The first 4 days have prepared you for this moment, but now is where the real magic happens. It's when you push through the discomfort, when you fight through the resistance, and when you keep going despite the challenges. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about persistence. Every time you show up and take action, whether it's a small step or a big leap, you're reinforcing your new habit and making it stronger. The more consistent you are, the more your brain will begin to accept this new behavior as part of who you are. The power of habit lies in its ability to be built upon. What you're doing today is laying the foundation for tomorrow. As you continue to push through these final days, you'll begin to notice that your new habits no longer feel forced. They start to feel natural, and that's when you know the transformation is truly happening. A huge part of making your habits stick is celebrating your small wins along the way. Every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, give yourself credit. It's important to acknowledge your progress, no matter how small. These victories, though seemingly insignificant in the moment, add up to big results over time. At this stage, it's also important to start replacing the old habits with the new ones you've created. Your brain is still holding on to the old routines, so replacing them is essential for lasting change. The more you practice your new habits, the more they will become your default behavior. Your brain will begin to favor the new pathways you've created, making the old ones weaker and less appealing. Be kind to yourself during this process. It's normal to have moments of doubt or frustration. Just remember that every step you take is progress. Don't let one bad day derail your entire journey. The most successful people are the ones who are able to pick themselves up after a setback and keep moving forward. And that's exactly what you're doing. By the end of these 7 days, you'll begin to see just how much power you have over your own life. The habits you've created and the ones you've broken will have reshaped the way you approach every area of your life. You'll be more confident, more focused, and more driven than ever before. The path to success is now clear, and you have the tools to continue this journey. The final push isn't just about completing a week-long challenge. It's about laying the foundation for the rest of your life. These habits you've built are the key to your future. You've not only learned how to create and break habits, but you've also learned the power of persistence, self-belief, and consistent action. At the heart of it all, you've learned that transformation is possible. It doesn't matter where you start, It's about how committed you are to making progress every day. And once you've built that momentum, there's no limit to what you can achieve. You've taken the first steps to becoming the best version of yourself, and that's something to be proud of. The final days are about embracing the process. Trust in the work you've done, and trust in yourself. The habits you've cultivated in this week will continue to grow stronger each day. And as they do, so will you. You're now equipped with the knowledge and tools to keep pushing forward, to continue building the life you want, and to never stop growing. You've made it this far, and now it's time to solidify the changes you've made. As you push through these last days, stay focused on your end goal. The life you've envisioned for yourself is within reach, and the only thing standing between you and that life is the consistent habits you've formed. Keep going, keep believing, and keep growing. This journey isn't over after 7 days. The habits you've created are just the beginning. The real work starts now, maintaining the habits, reinforcing them, and continuing to evolve. Your transformation doesn't stop here. It's only just begun. As you look back on these 7 days, take a moment to appreciate how far you've come. What once seemed impossible now feels like second nature. You've proven to yourself that with the right tools, the right mindset, and the right persistence, anything is possible. The habits you've created and the ones you've let go of are powerful. They are the building blocks of your future, and now you have the knowledge to continue shaping your life in the direction you want it to go. The journey of self-improvement never ends. It's a lifelong process. And today, you've made the most important step of all. You've taken control. Like, share, and subscribe to Book Boost to keep pushing forward on your journey of self-transformation. Stay with us as we continue to unlock the power of habits and create the future you deserve. Day 5 to 7. The final push, solidifying and replacing habits for lasting change. By now, you've learned the foundational aspects of habit formation, broken old patterns, and replaced them with new, healthier routines. But the real magic begins when you reach the final stretch, the crucial last 3 days of your journey. This is where your efforts culminate in powerful transformation, where the new habits you've built solidify, and the old habits fade away. It's the final push, the time to reinforce everything you've learned and create lasting change. The key to the final push lies in consistency. Over the past few days, you've been diligently working on creating new behaviors. Perhaps you've felt the resistance of your old habits, or maybe you've experienced moments of self-doubt. But now, after 5 days, you've begun to see the fruits of your labor. The key is not to stop, but to continue. The final 3 days are about building the strength to keep moving forward, regardless of the challenges that may arise. It's easy to feel discouraged when progress feels slow, but remember that each step you take, no matter how small, is a victory. The strength to persist, to keep showing up even when it feels difficult, is what makes lasting habits possible. In these final days, think of each small success as a building block, contributing to a more significant transformation. The more you show up, the more effortless the habit becomes. The brain thrives on repetition. When you repeat an action consistently, it becomes ingrained in your neural pathways. By the end of day 7, the habits you've been working on will have become easier to execute. What once felt like a challenge will now feel automatic. This is the power of consistency. It doesn't take perfection, but dedication to the process. And as you commit to these small actions each day, you're reprogramming your brain to make these changes permanent. In these final 3 days, it's crucial to remind yourself of the progress you've made. Look back and reflect on how far you've come. Perhaps you've stopped smoking, started exercising, or replaced unhealthy eating habits with better choices. Whatever it is, acknowledge your efforts. Celebrating small wins fuels your motivation to continue. The more you recognize your progress, the more driven you'll feel to keep pushing forward. Another powerful lesson in these final days is the importance of self-compassion. It's easy to beat yourself up over setbacks or moments where you slipped up. But this kind of thinking is counterproductive. Instead, treat yourself with kindness. Understand that changing habits is a process, and it's okay to stumble along the way. The key is to get back on track and keep moving forward, not to quit when you face challenges. In this phase, the power of replacement comes into play. As you work on breaking old habits, it's essential to replace them with something new and positive. If you want to stop procrastinating, replace that habit with focused work or a new productive routine. If you want to eat healthier, Replace junk food with nourishing meals. Replacing habits doesn't just eliminate negative behaviors. It actively fills the void with actions that lead to growth. To strengthen your new habits, visualize yourself living the life you've imagined. Imagine how you will feel after consistently following through with your new routines. See the positive changes happening in your life. This vision will help reinforce your commitment and push you through the final stretch. The more vivid the mental image of your success, the easier it will be to make that success a reality. During the last 3 days, take time each morning to set an intention for the day. When you wake up, remind yourself of your goals and why you started this journey in the first place. Setting intentions keeps you focused and aligned with your desired outcomes. It gives you a clear roadmap for how to approach each day with purpose and determination. Equally important is the power of accountability. Surround yourself with people who support your journey. Share your goals with a friend, family member, or mentor. Having someone to check in with or talk to makes it easier to stay committed. When you know someone is rooting for your success, it strengthens your resolve to push through the challenges. On day 6, focus on tracking your progress. Keeping a journal or a simple checklist helps you stay on top of your habits. When you can visually see how far you've come, it builds confidence and reinforces your commitment. Tracking is a powerful tool because it keeps you accountable to yourself and allows you to celebrate even the smallest victories. In the final days, remember that the habit loop is still at work. Each time you complete a habit, you are strengthening the neural connections that will make it more automatic. Your brain loves patterns and repetition, so every time you stick to your new habit, you are making it easier for the behavior to be repeated in the future. This is the power of persistence. When you reach the end of day 7, reflect on the habits you've solidified. Are they automatic now? Do they feel like second nature? If not, don't worry. Habit formation takes time, and the 7th day is just the beginning of your lifelong journey. The most important thing is that you've taken the first major step, and you've built a solid foundation for continued growth. In this phase, don't just focus on the habits you've successfully created. Think about how you can continue to improve them. As you move forward, it's essential to tweak and adjust your routines as needed. Growth is not a destination, but a journey. Keep refining your habits and expanding your capacity to create new ones. Over time, these habits will become even more ingrained in your daily life. As you push through these final days, remember that change is a marathon, not a sprint. Real transformation comes from consistent effort, not quick fixes. Keep reminding yourself that every effort counts, even if it feels insignificant in the moment. The compound effect of small actions leads to remarkable change over time. On day 7, take a moment to congratulate yourself for reaching this point. Celebrate your progress and acknowledge your perseverance. Whether or not your new habits feel completely automatic, you've laid the groundwork for lasting change. The work you've put in is a testament to your dedication and your commitment to improving your life. The final push is all about maintaining momentum. Don't stop now. Use the momentum from these 7 days to keep building and creating the habits that will continue to elevate your life. The hardest part is often getting started, but you've already done that. Now, let this experience be a reminder that you have the power to create the life you want, one habit at a time. Like, share, and subscribe to Book Boost to continue exploring the science of habits and unlocking the tools you need to change your life. Keep pushing, keep growing, and remember, every habit you create is a step toward becoming the best version of yourself. Day 5 to 7. The final push, solidifying and replacing habits for lasting change. As the final days of your habit-building journey approach, the most powerful transformation is about to take place. It's easy to feel like the hard work is over, but in reality, this is when your true power begins to shine. The actions you've taken so far have laid the groundwork for change, and now, it's time to solidify your new habits and replace the old ones for good. The last push is not about force. It's about consistency and making the new habits so ingrained in your life that they feel just as natural as the ones you're leaving behind. Day 5 marks a significant shift. You've already begun to break the chains of old habits, and now, it's time to cement the new ones. During this phase, repetition becomes your greatest ally. The more you repeat your new habits, the stronger they become, embedding themselves deeply into your neural pathways. Think of it like carving a new path through a forest. Each time you walk down it, it gets easier to navigate. Soon, this path will feel like the only one to take. The key to lasting change lies in making your new habits automatic. And this requires practice. It's about building muscle memory for your mind. At first, it might feel like you're forcing yourself to take action, but with each passing day, that feeling will fade. The more you engage with your new routines, the less effort they'll require. Eventually, they will become second nature, leaving the old patterns behind as distant memories. In these last few days, it's crucial to focus on the process, not the outcome. Acknowledge the small victories. Each day that you wake up and follow through is a success. The more you celebrate your commitment, the more motivated you'll become to continue. It's easy to get lost in the end goal, but the real magic happens when you find joy in the journey itself. The final push is about embracing the process and trusting that every step forward is a step toward lasting change. This phase is also about replacing old habits with new ones. If you've been breaking a negative habit, now is the time to fully let go of the old routine. But don't just stop. Replace that space with something positive. For example, if you've been trying to break the habit of procrastination, don't just remove the action of putting things off. Replace it with a new habit, such as starting tasks immediately or breaking large projects into smaller, manageable pieces. By replacing old habits, you don't leave a void. Instead, you create a new, healthier pattern that will help propel you forward. Another critical lesson in this phase is understanding that setbacks are a natural part of the process. It's normal to face challenges, but the important thing is not to get discouraged. When you slip up, don't see it as a failure. View it as an opportunity to learn. Every setback is a chance to adjust your approach and strengthen your resolve. The more you learn to handle these challenges, the more resilient you become in your pursuit of lasting change. As you continue this journey, remember that the new habits you're forming are reflections of who you want to become. These habits are not just actions. They are expressions of your future self. Whether it's waking up earlier, exercising regularly, or making healthier choices, each habit is a step toward becoming the person you know you can be. Your future is shaped by the decisions you make today, and the habits you build now will lay the foundation for the life you've always dreamed of. To make your habits stick, consistency is essential. The more you practice, the more these behaviors become ingrained. Habits don't form overnight, but with steady effort, you'll notice remarkable changes in just a few days. And the beauty of this process is that the transformation doesn't stop after 7 days. The momentum you've created will continue to build, and soon, you'll find yourself living the life you've always wanted, all because you decided to take control of your habits. One of the most powerful aspects of habit formation is the ripple effect. When you change one area of your life, it often leads to changes in other areas as well. For example, as you begin waking up earlier, you might notice that you have more time for exercise or personal growth. As your physical health improves, your energy levels rise, and you become more productive. The beauty of habits is that they have the power to impact multiple areas of your life simultaneously. Remember, every small step you take is an investment in your future. Even if it feels hard in the moment, know that your efforts are building towards something greater. Change is not easy, but the rewards are worth it. Your persistence and commitment are what will ultimately determine your success. You are the one in control of your habits, and by staying focused on your goals, you will create the life you desire. As you enter the final stretch, remember that you don't have to be perfect. Perfection is a myth, but progress is always possible. If you slip up, don't let it define you. Instead, use it as an opportunity to learn and grow. The journey of habit formation is about progress, not perfection, and every step forward brings you closer to your goals. In the final days, you'll also want to focus on reinforcing your new habits through positive reinforcement. Reward yourself for sticking to your new routines. Whether it's acknowledging your progress, treating yourself to something you enjoy, or simply taking a moment to reflect on how far you've come, celebrating your successes will keep you motivated and committed. As you continue to solidify your new habits, be mindful of your environment. Surround yourself with people and situations that support your goals. When you are in an environment that nurtures your new habits, it becomes easier to stay on track. Whether it's joining a fitness group, seeking support from friends, or finding a community that shares your goals, being surrounded by like-minded individuals will strengthen your commitment. In these final days, you'll notice that your confidence begins to grow. With each habit you solidify, you become more confident in your ability to change your life. This self-belief is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. The more you believe in your ability to change, the easier it becomes to create the life you've always wanted. By the end of these 7 days, your life will look different. It won't be about the perfection of your habits, but about the transformation that has taken place within you. You've proven to yourself that you are capable of change, that you have the power to create and break habits at will. And that power will continue to serve you long after these 7 days are over. You have unlocked a new version of yourself, one that is more disciplined, more focused, and more aligned with the person you want to be. This is just the beginning of your journey, and as you continue to build and solidify your habits, you'll find that the possibilities are endless. Keep pushing, keep growing, and know that you have the strength to create lasting change in your life. At Book Boost, we believe in your ability to transform. Keep moving forward, and remember, every great journey begins with a single step, and you've just taken yours.